Let's see. No, Shannon has sent. Shannon's going to check to see if the live stream is connected.
Please stand for the invocation and the pledge.
Our Father, we thank you for today. Thank you for the rain, Lord, that you've just given us. Father, we just ask you to be with us tonight, Lord, each and every one of us. And help us, Lord, to look to you for answers, to help guide this city in the right direction, and that right direction is yours. And God, just look into each of our hearts and help us, Lord, to see your will and your ways, and give us courage and strength tonight. In Christ's name, amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call this public hearing and work session to order for July 1, 2025. Welcome to the new year. I call it to order. First thing on the agenda, is minute approval. And we have June 17th, 2025, and the June 25th, 2025, and June 25, 2025. So I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the June 17th regular meeting, June 25th public hearing meeting, and the June 25th, 2025 special call meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor? Show of hands. Passed. We'll go on down into our reports, and the first one is the Finance Department.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the financial report today, I'll review the activity through June 30th, which concludes fiscal year 2025. Please note that this doesn't capture the entire month's activities and does not include any accruals to close the fiscal year. The general fund revenues for fiscal year 25 are strong, with 106% of the amended budgeted revenues received. This will increase as accrual entries are posted. Total tax revenues are at 102% of the annual budget. The primary revenues in the tax category are property taxes, lost, and insurance premium tax. Real property tax collections are 99% of the original annual budget. Lost is at 99% of budgeted levels, and there is still 1/4 of franchise taxes to receive and accrue. Licenses and permits have exceeded our annual budget at 110% of the amended budget. The majority of the revenue collected is from building inspection fees and business license fees. The business license renewal period has ended, and revenues are at 112% of anticipated levels. Charges for services are at annual amended budget levels, with 138% received this year. This is primarily due to revenues at the community center. Fines and forfeitures are reporting at 162% of the amended annual budget. Now that the camera is back online, we are seeing revenues pick up at about $15,000 in June. Other revenues, including interest, contributions, and miscellaneous, are at or above budgeted levels. Nothing significant to report for those line items. For general fund expenditures, most of the departments are below their annual budgeted expenditure levels, with a few exceptions, such as the inspections, municipal court, roads and streets, and code enforcement departments, which exceeded their annual expenditures primarily for repairs and maintenance and renovations. We do expect additional expenditures will be recorded as staff continue to process the June invoices. After the fiscal year-end closing procedures have been completed, we will bring a final budget amendment before council to account for these overages. The general fund expenditures for all departments combined is 91% of the annual amended budget levels. Other governmental funds activities worth noting is the SPLOST fund is reporting 81% of revenues received as of June. With a 2-month lag in the payment cycle for SPLOST, we are on pace for annual budgeted levels. SPLOST revenues received in July and August will be accrued back to fiscal year 25 as applicable. The T-SPLOS Fund reports 101% of revenues as of June. We will monitor revenues received in July to verify if accrual back to fiscal year 25 is needed. For the Utility Fund, revenues are at 97% of the amended budget. Most revenues and charges for services are for water and sewer billings, which report 88% and 93% respectively. The Utility Fund expenditures for all departments combined is 82% of annual amended budgeted levels. This concludes the June financial report. We are in the process of our fiscal year-end closing, so there will be accruals for payments and revenues. So what you have before you today should not be considered final. And let me know if you have any questions.
Any questions, anybody?
No, looks good. Thank you.
Okay. And I'll work on the reports that you guys requested and send those
Thank
out.
you. Thank you so much. Looks good. Yes. Report from the police department.
Good afternoon, council, citizens. Thank y'all for being here. For June 1st to the 30th, we had 687 area checks, 139 incidents, 12 accidents, 13 arrests, 317 traffic stops. We had 92 citations and signed 13 warrants. We took 118 incident reports. As you can see, we upped our area checks quite a bit to 687. During the summer months, school's out, kids get bored at home. We get entering auto problems, burglaries. So we've stepped our area checks up to try to combat that, which I think we've done a pretty good job at it. I don't know of any so far, so we want to keep it that way. That being said, if citizens or community, you see something, say something. Call us. Don't be afraid to call us if you see somebody suspicious and you need us to check them out. Just make sure you give us a call. Okay.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Y'all have any
you so
questions?
much.
You're welcome.
Public Works.
Good evening, how are y'all?
Brett.
Yeah.
So for June, the Public Works Activity Report, done all our normal EPD required sampling, repaired several water leaks, grass cutting was in full bloom, cleanup around town. The limb truck repairs for the truck we purchased, they are completed. They are now I got them doing some routine maintenance, oil changes, filter change and all that. So we should be able to see that second limb truck in action within the next week or two. And then I've got to get the employee that I've hired trained on it. So we'll have it in-house and then we'll do some training on it and then we'll get it out on the road. The privacy fence was installed at the public workshop. It's looking real good around there. We've completed some grading and added some additional parking at the public workshop. We took out several trees in the back and cleaned some stuff up, some brush and more debris. We did sell or surplus off 2 aged pickup trucks that I had mentioned previously. We purchased 2 newer to us used pickup trucks that you guys approved. Got those in-house, and also the bucket truck that was approved. Got that in-house as well. We repaired several bad water meters, either by customer damage or by default. All the community centers were pretty active this month, or last month. A lot of setup and a lot of cleaning. A lot of rental, a lot of activities, that's a good thing. We had to identify some abandoned water lines that were crossing 316 for the DOT project that we were not aware that was out there, and luckily there were some old abandoned lines. No telling what the age of those were, and I'm sure we'll come across more over the next coming years. So. I did meet with a company that performs manhole sealing and coating that will prevent I&I. That'll help us with that inflow and infiltration problem that we're having in some of the older systems and the older parts of the systems and the manholes. Which of course will save us money in the long run. Waiting on pricing for that now, and that particular company is looking to perform a free demo in the next month or so. So we're still working, hashing out some dates, and so that we'll get one area coded or a bad area demoed out. So we'll see how that product works, and then we'll see what the pricing looks like and see if it's going to be worth it for the city to move forward.
Okay.
So, any questions?
Huh?
How are we coming with the little bridge?
So we've got the decking up, and I've got all the quotes in for the custom metal railing. Now I'm going to, I've seen it as a little steep in price, so I'm looking at pricing out some different style railing, and this railing we might possibly be able to do in-house instead of getting a contractor to do. So I'm waiting on getting some prices for that together. So we looked at doing some, if y'all ever noticed on Jefferson, right past Bear Creek, that new neighborhood Charlotte's Place, they had to do we required them to install some metal railing along the sidewalk of that steep grade. We were looking at something like that, a nice, decent looking metal railing along that bridge. And I did get some prices for that, and in my opinion, I felt it was a little steep. So that's what we're stopping mid-track, and I'm backing up and punting. So that'll be on me for sure. But I just want to make sure we're doing it safe, putting some safe stuff out there for everybody that's going to be utilizing it. Plus, we're doing it at a good cost for the city.
Okay.
So,
Thanks, Brett.
thank you.
Sure.
What about the holes in the street? There's been a hole right there in front of my house on Victoria Street. I know there's a water leak there. They came out and fixed that leak, but they left an oblong shaped hole there. And then we come out and boom, right through it. And then at the end of Peter Street, it's the same thing. Another hole. You got
At the end of what street?
Peters.
Peter Street?
There's another hole.
Now, I did notice Peter Street yesterday when I went down come back from Hillman, at Peter Street and 8th.
Yeah, there's
So that one is on my list. They went out this morning to patch the potholes, and I don't know if they got to that one. But I'll get your address from sure, and I'll get to that.
Right, it's
I'll
right
get
there,
that.
23rd Bridge. Come out on the driveway, if you turn to the right, it's where they fixed the leak, but they left a hole there. It's a lot long bridge, not long, but it's a hole. And
Okay.
you bump into it every time you come out. One other question, do you know have a schedule for leaf and limb pickup? Because I know I go to the city and I sign up for it, that's what they told me. And that was like in February. They pick them up in June.
So I would love to get to the point where we do have a schedule. That's what the city bought this extra truck, and we're going to get it in here and get that going. And that way we'll get caught up. But we're so inundated with the leaf and limbs that there's no obvious schedule right now.
Okay, so that's your
But so
schedule.
that we are alleviating that. That's why we chose to not purchase another truck and to get caught up and to keep caught up.
Right, so just go up there and sign up like we do now. At
Yeah,
City Hall. that's
yes,
it.
ma'am.
Okay.
But
Thank-
yeah, I'm sorry that we're getting there. We're going to get better at that for sure. But we're taking steps to improve that for sure.
It's baby
Yes, ma'am.
steps. It's baby steps, but we're getting better. We are getting better. Okay, the mayor's report. In June,
Thanks, Brett.
thank you, Brett, appreciate it. In June, I did my normal meetings, had chamber meetings and chamber board meetings, but we also, in this room, had our District 5 meeting with GMA, so that was a good highlight. We had lots of mayors in the room on June 5th for our District 5 meeting. Let's see, I don't have to read everything. I did attend Robert Bridges' funeral on the 17th, and I attended classes at GMA June 20th through the 23rd. Some of the things that I would like to highlight, though, is through our LAR and LMIG, we're going to be receiving $56,408, and with that money, we're going to be able to stripe first from Broad to Second, striping Elizabeth from 1st to 3rd Street. We'll be putting in pedestrian crosswalks at Statham Elementary School, and we'll be able to repair sidewalks and repair the dip at Mulberry, on Mulberry Road and Broad. The other thing that I'm real excited about is that we were able today, I met with Houston Gaines to review the possible procedure to introduce a senior tax exemption. There are several steps that we'll have to go through, and We'll have to meet with the legislator, we'll have to go through Barrow County tax assessors. There's lots of steps we'll do, but we are getting, hopefully we will be able to offer some relief for our seniors. So that's coming up in the future, possibly next year, but we are in the midst of seeing what we can do as a city for that. So just wanted to give y'all a highlight on that. I'm really excited that we were able to meet with him today. That ends my mayor's report. Committee reports. Any committees that would like to report?
I guess I'll talk about the 4th of
Thank you,
July.
Christine.
So on the 5th, we're going to be having our Independence Day celebration from 5 to 10. We have 20 vendors with food, drink, and merchandise. We're going to be having face painting, inflatables, all ages hula hoop contest, free kids and teen books courtesy of Barrow Literacy Partnership, and free American flags while they last, a DJ, and fireworks at dusk. So we hope everybody will come out and spend the day with us.
Come out and support the city's Independence Day the day after Independence Day. So we're just going to extend that, the 4th of July to the 5th. Anyone else?
I don't have anything from the tree committee, but I do want to wish my esteemed colleague that's at the
Yes.
very end of the island a very happy birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Frank, Christine said she can get you a free face painting if you come by on Saturday.
I need it. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, happy
Appreciate
birthday,
that.
Frank.
Thank
That
you.
was a great birthday last year that we attended,
Yeah.
so.
Couldn't afford to do another. I have a little bit of a report.
Okay.
There will be a Red Cross blood drive. Thank you, Nikki, for the information. I have followed up with that information, and there is one scheduled for October the 8th of this year. And it's gonna be like 10 to 4. There's no more bus with Red Cross anymore. By the end of July, they said they're gonna do away with it totally. But it's gonna be at the 1025 church here in Statham, just right up the next corner. On the back side, as you come in, there's a fellowship hall, and that's where it's gonna be. But I'll have more information coming as it goes. I don't wanna get ahead of myself, because October's, 3.5 months away almost. So people have a tendency to forget if you give it to them too early. So I'll just feed a little information as we go along and as I get the details. So anyway, October the 8th.
Do we get to wear our Halloween costumes?
Whatever it takes to get you in there.
Maybe some Halloween candy instead of cookies?
There you go.
Well, thank you for coordinating that, and thank you, Nikki, for passing that along to Frank. Anything else? Okay. With that being said, we'll move on into discussion items, and the first is the Statham Library. And they are not here, looks like. Jerry White's an associate agreement.
I'm happy to explain this. So this, Jerry White's is our contract city planner. He is currently out of contract as far as services provided. So this is just papering the ongoing relationship with Jerry. There is a rate increase that is included in this. It's a 2-year agreement, but it can be terminated at any time on 15 days notice. So we don't run into any problems with the length of the contract. This is exactly identical to, I know of at least 2 other jurisdictions that Jerry represents, Jefferson being one and Arcade being the other. And I've already reviewed the contract. Everything's somewhat in order, but this is just again to reaffirm the ongoing professional relationship.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, one other tidbit. Jerry, I also know, is stepping back a little bit, and so he does have a couple of people that he works with, and so their rates are also in here. They're a little bit less than Jerry is, but Jerry is still our primary point of contact.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Statham Alert System.
Okay, I handed out the packet of received from the RFP. On the top, you're going to see, basically this is just a short overview of the pricing, the breakdown of the weather alert or emails, text, the kind of service, whether you service it through a portal, if they service cell phones, laptops, computers, if they give you email, text, voice. And right behind that, you're going to see what the request for proposal was. And to go through it, it's very daunting. I'm not a tech savvy person, so Google was my friend. But what I suggest is to go through there, and then if you have any questions, go ahead and send them an email, and then I will forward that to the vendor and I will copy the whole council so everyone's on the same page. You'll also notice a couple of them do have a price that's higher than the second year price, and that is because whether it's set up fees, training fees. So that breakdown right there will show you what their possible annual fee is going to be. The only other change I would say in there is a lot of companies do have annual increases, and they really cannot anticipate them till later in that year. And that's going to be the cost of having employees, materials, software, whatever have you. So the one thing is Harris, and I did explain that on there. Through an email, it was alerted that Harris does do a mass notification system, and this is after the RFP went out, and I just reached out to them to kind of get an idea, because we're already dealing with Harris through our payroll, our utilities. So basically, they did not fulfill what the RFP was. I have sent them an RFP for a Q&A. Here again, this is just a request for proposal. You will also have to determine, what do you want this service to be? What is this mass notification system going to be? That's really going to be the hint, because when that is decided and you set it up, the price will change. But you'll want to know that when it's getting set up, because you do it later, you doubled that first price. That's what I read in there. So I just suggest to the council, review it, Q&A me, and then we can come back and look at it. Not necessarily does it have to be voted on the next meeting, because this might take a little Q&A to figure out what is going to work for the city of Statham. All right, any questions?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
On the Text My Gov, is that the one that we had that we sat down and he went through it with us?
Yes.
Is that the same one? I know it was something about
Yeah.
My Gov. I didn't know if it was the same
Yes, it
exact
was.
one.
Yeah, so like I said, the overall review basically is telling you what they do, what they do offer, whether they have one portal where you sign up, or do you have to do 2 different signature sign-ups. The other thing to consider, if they're offering 4 different services, whether it be voice, text, email, whatever services they are offering, if a citizen signs up for all of them, they use all of them for one text, that's 4 texts. So when you look at, man, I'm getting this many texts, you have to remember how fast that text can go. Because this is not just for the citizens of Statham. This ends up being, like, I know a lot of us are signed up with Barrow County Alert. So this is not, you have to think of the broader picture. Who may use this? How many end users you're going to have? And how many services are rendered to each of these text, voice, whatever you have. All right?
Cheryl, is there a way to get a digital copy of all this packet?
No one sent me a digital, but that wasn't part of the RFP, was, a digital copy. If you want me to scan them all for you, I can scan it into one file. If you want me to do that, I can do that.
If you were able to, I know that that's a pain.
No, that's fine. I can get it all scanned. Do you want it scanned as one or each individual?
Just as one is fine.
As one? Okay, yeah, I'll get that.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Yeah, enjoy your read. And I want to put a note out there for our District 5 luncheon. We really appreciate Waste Pro. They were our sponsor. So that was wonderful. We reached out to them and they offered to pay for the full luncheon. So thank you, Waste Pro.
Outwater, she's not here today. She was here to talk to us about Downtown Development Authority, and so right now at this time, our city is not in the position to be able to have an authority. So if we're wanting to do something for downtown development, I gave Tim some information about that we can look into, so we can go in that direction. Now it's time for citizen input, and so who's on the list?
We have two individuals signed up. Ms. Hattie Thrasher is first.
Good evening. My name is Hattie Thrasher. I live at 2042 Ventura Street, Statham, Georgia. My beef is, I guess, with the council, because last month y'all okayed this proposed budget. Now, when I read down through here, there was some stuff that disturbed me. And I'll start with the dog park, $5,000 you allocated for it. And then when it got to the park over in Ventura Street, my street, $5,000. You got to Robert Bridges Park, and I love Robert Bridges, I'm not knocking that, $25,000. How could you jump that big difference? $20,000 for him, $5,000 for the rest of us. Dogs don't pay taxes, we do. So I would like for y'all to answer that question for me, please.
Okay.
Not a smile, Debbie. I'm listening.
Okay. The dog park was being renovated because of the condition that it was in.
Who using the dog park?
We have people that do use the dog park and have come to us about to that. As far as the did you say $25,000?
Yes, $25,000 is what you got on here.
Yes. And I think we discussed this with you
That $25,000 is for bridges.
Right.
$5,000 is for the dog park. $5,000 is for the park in my area.
Okay.
Cheryl, you want to? Okay. Okay.
So, as we said last meeting, Rainwater Hillman, we put in a lot of money last year. We replaced the roof, we replaced the AC, we replaced the floor, we replaced the kitchen. It's basically interior-wise a new park, a new community center, because it's not the park, it's the community center. Robert Bridges, we didn't do as much, and we still have to take care of the floor and the outside, part of the outside. So what we put in for the community center was the exterior paint of the pavilion and the exterior paint of the building. Because we put so much money into Hillman last year, we just didn't have time to finish Robert Bridges. All of the community centers, including this one, had money put into them. Rainwater Hillman had the most because, honestly, it needed a new roof, total new roof, you know that.
Plus the concession stand.
The concession stand, we also did the concession stand, the roof. So, you know, the majority of the renovation, as far as we said, a lot of the funding, a good majority went last year into Hillman. To address the the dog park, is we had 2 trees go on the fence. They collapsed, Trees are dying around here. Took the fence up. We have to replace that. Yes, there are a lot of people that use that park. We have to remove some trees, and then we have to level it. Just like anything else around Statham, everything needs a little TLC. But I can honestly, with pride, say Hillman, Rainwater Hillman, got a beautiful remodel where we hadn't finished the other one. So that's why the difference. Robert Bridges, we have to finish it off. So are you happy with how the community center is interior-wise?
I am happy with how it looks, but I'm not happy at this 25,000 being spent. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So no one's being ignored or no one's being lessened. I take pride in that the council put that money into all of our parks, but we got further with some than the others. So we're just trying to finish up. That's what we're doing, is we're finishing up.
Oh, when you finish up with business, you think you're going to have some leftover money?
I don't know. What do you want?
Well, want the building enlarged.
Well, now that's a whole different ballgame.
I know it's a different.
So, you know, that's a different day for a different discussion. But right now, what we have is what we're working with. Every single place, we're working within the confines of what we have. You know, that's what we're doing with the dollar. We don't have that many dollars, and we're trying to make the most.
Well, you asked me.
Well,
So, my
I also
turn.
appreciate honesty, but you come to me and then you give me your idea, and I can present it to the council.
Okay, soon I'll do it. Okay?
Thank you,
Thanks,
Hattie.
Ms. Hattie.
Okay.
And it is pretty out there.
Betty Kinney.
I'm Betty King, 2033 Ventura Street in Statham. And I was going to follow up with what Hattie had said, but I think since you've explained that much of it, I don't need to do as much follow-up, but I will give you a list of things that Robert Bridges and I had talked about, Rest of Soul. And that was that walking trail that was never completed. Long
Now,
time
the
ago,
walking
yeah.
trail, we were going to do last winter, but we didn't have enough workers to do it.
Yeah.
That is on our.
That's your list? Yeah, I was just going to write your list. I didn't take up my time.
You can,
But
just come on in the office and talk to me and we'll write it together.
city,
Sit right
where we
next to
pay
the
water
office.
bill, okay, I should do that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the fire hydrants on Ventura Street. I talked about that before, and I got a note, I can't remember the gentleman's name. Must have been one of you that called me and said that it was left up to the city of Winder about the fire hydrants. You know, I told you all those things don't work. They're just there. They haven't been painted or updated and haven't even been inspected. And that's what I addressed before, and that was last year. And they still haven't. The gentleman left me a note, and I don't know who it was, that I forget, getting a little older. And he told me that the city of Winder was going to be looking into it. Haven't heard anything from anybody. But you all know how fires and stuff break out.
Ma'am, I do.
And if it breaks out there on Ventura Street or over in that area, it's gonna be bad because there is no water in those fire hydrants. And we need that. We've had a couple of experiences with water. They were calling in, I think one of the gentlemen remembered when we had that bad fire across the street from me, and they were calling in the trucks from Winder, and they were yelling, because I could hear them, "We need some water, get us some water in here, and here's this truck, too late to fire, get it burned." But more than just a house, it could be a life. I can replace a house with insurance or steal the money if I want to, but you cannot replace a life. And it needs to be, those fire hydrants need to be checked, and there needs to be water flowing out of them rather than just them standing there all rustic now. But that was my issue, other than the park and all.
Brett, do you want to?
I would like to address the fire hydrants.
Go ahead.
So all the fire hydrants do have pressure to them, and they do have water. They need to be operated, you're correct, they need to be inspected, they need to be looked at, they need to be cleaned up. We are, and I've got to circle back around to this, but we will be working with Bear County, trying to create some kind of deal with them where they do a testing every year. I've got to get back with them and circle back to that, get that going. But you are correct, they need to be looked at, they need to be floated every year and stuff.
Were you the one that called me? Somebody called me.
I'm
year
sure if
ago.
I ever spoke with you.
But it would be Barrow County that we would be working with, the Barrow County Fire
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to them and
Services.
start
Yep.
conversations about that,
Yep.
for sure.
Oh,
But I can assure you there is water to every hydrant. So, but,
And you know that but they haven't been tested. to say that there is water. If you don't turn it on and test it, how do you know that there's water there?
Oh, there's one there, I promise you that. That,
I won't turn it on, I don't know. No, I'm not. I'm not messing with that. I do want to know that it's working before somebody's house, be my house, catches on fire. It's not a good thing.
yeah, we're gonna look at that.
Mayor,
Thank
those
you.
are all the citizens that have signed
Thank
up to
you.
speak.
Thank you, citizens, for coming forward, and hope we addressed your issues. And anytime you feel like you want to come into City Hall and speak with me or Cheryl about any kind of things, we'll try to get the answers for you as best we can. All right. With all that being said, I need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I need a second. All in favor, show of hands. This meeting is now adjourned.